Hi guys, welcome to Classic Guitar Rock. I want to show you just a quick little trick, and it's probably something that when you see it, at least if you know your scales and stuff, you'll probably go, well, no, duh. Um, but I kind of have overlooked this or not taken advantage of it, and I was actually watching a John Petrucci video where he talks about, and it's such a simple concept, but I think it's worth noting and working on. And it's just about taking all your traditional 2-octave scales and making them a 3-octave scale. And as you do this, it gets you up the neck further and faster, if that makes sense. And so let me give you an example. Now, if you're old like me, I was starting to learn to play the guitar in the early 80s, right? And this is before they talked about all the whole 3-note per string thing. So all the scales I learned were the traditional scale patterns that weren't necessarily 3 notes per string. So for example, let's look at the natural minor shape, or the Aeolian shape. In A, this is the one that we're probably all familiar with. This is the way I learned it, okay? That may be the way you learned it if you're my age. Now, if you're a little younger and you started learning after this whole 3-note per string thing came out, your natural minor probably looked like this. Whoops. Okay, see the difference? Let me do that one more time. See, I'm not used to doing it that way. It's the same notes, right? But when you do the 3-note per string, you end up here at your last stop instead of here, which makes sense because you're playing 3 notes per string, where the old way there were a couple strings where you're only playing 2 notes. Okay? Now, the traditional pattern, what that does is your playing becomes very vertical, right? You learn these shapes, and so you're which is not bad, but you tend to just play up and down, and then you'd move to the next little pattern, you know. But very boxy, right? At least that's the way it was for me. So the 3 notes per string kind of helped because it got you to spread out a little bit and go a little more horizontal. But this is the thing that John Petrucci pointed out, which I guess I've always known this because I knew the notes, I knew the different boxes, I just never split up those boxes. So the way that the guitar is laid out, this is kind of handy, right? Is you got a note here, there's an A, I got the same note here. So it's an octave higher, up 2 frets, down 2 strings, same note. Well, since it's the same note, obviously that means everything starts over again. So basically what that means is I've got this 2-string block that will just repeat itself. So let's take the first 2 strings of the natural minor. Okay? See that? So that means I can come here, an octave higher, play exactly the same shape. Okay? And I can come up here an octave higher. Now the B string kind of messes us up, so we have to come up 3 frets when we move to the B string. But then it's still the same shape. Okay? So look what I've done. I'm starting here, and I'm ending way up here. So instead of just covering 3 frets, I wind up clear up here. So I'm clear up here to the 12th fret. Okay? So let me do that all together. Okay, so instead of thinking my 2 octaves going this way, I'm thinking 3 octaves coming more horizontally down the neck. Now you notice I missed 1 note of the scale. I didn't play the whole scale because I missed this guy. That note. Okay, because that's my 7th. Then it starts all over. So I missed that, but that gets me down to the 3rd string, which kind of screws me up. because I want to keep it at a repeatable 2-string pattern. No problem. If I want to play that whole scale, I just slid up 2 frets, which sets me up perfectly to start my pattern over. Slide up 2 frets, sets me up perfectly to start my new pattern. And if I want to slide up, I can do that. Okay? But see, I started here, and I wound up clear down here, instead of just doing 2 octaves vertically like this. Does that make sense? Let me do it one more time. Okay? And I can do that with any scale. It doesn't have to be the natural minor scale. I could do it with a, let's try a mixolydian. Again, I learned to play mixolydian this way. Very vertical, right? So let's take those same notes instead of playing them here, which takes up 3 strings. I can play them here. Same notes. So I just slide up to that one note at the end. And then I can start all over up here. Again, I started way up here, ended way down here, 3 octaves. Kind of a simple little trick, but as you work with that, it breaks you out of being stuck into one box so you can move to your next box and play in that box and move back to that box. It transcends the boxes, and I've gotten from my traditional, you know, up here, it's moved me clear up here, right? So now I'm ready to start noodling down here. It just got me up the neck quicker. And it covered 3 octaves instead of just 2. But just kind of a simple little concept to mess with. So check that out, see what you can do with that. Again, any shape, if you keep it on those 2 strings, you know you can just repeat it an octave up. Okay? Okay, so all of those places, you can just repeat that pattern again. Kind of handy, and it gets you up the neck very quick. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Thanks. Bye-bye.